Hi, my name is Sandeep Devabhakthuni. I am a associate professor and associate dean of student affairs at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy. That was my first position after I finished residency training. I am originally from West Virginia and went to school at University of Pittsburgh. I wanted to get out of the state, but not be too far away. I did my undergraduate training in bioengineering to prepare myself for a health profession. And then I stayed on for pharmacy school and had a very much of a passion for clinical pharmacy. So I decided to apply for residency after I finished graduation. I was fortunate to match at University of Maryland Medical Center for my first year of residency. I couldn't decide between cardiology or critical care, so I decided to pursue both. I went back to University of Pittsburgh and did a split residency in cardiology and critical care. And then I was fortunate, the University of Maryland was hiring and needed someone who could do both the cardiology and the critical care side of it. So that was why I came back and became a faculty member here at University of Maryland School of Pharmacy and never looked back. I really enjoyed being a faculty member there as well. Pharmacy is so broad, and it was really hard actually to decide what I wanted to do. But when I was in my undergraduate training doing bioengineering, I learned a lot about the different options that you can have for whether it was medicine, pharmacy. I was actually originally a pre-medical school because my dad was a pediatrician. But after I got to my senior year, I realized I wasn't very passionate about the diagnosis and like anatomy and physiology. And the idea of dissecting something really did not interest me at all, this one. So luckily, one of my closest friends was starting pharmacy school and was able to tell me a little bit about what you can do. And I didn't realize that you can actually make it wherever you want it to be in pharmacy. You don't have to be behind the counter helping people in the community setting with this one. That part didn't really interest me as much, even though I think that's a huge role because it's so exciting to be able to help people even on the front line here. But I just know that I was more interested in doing direct patient care. But once I found out you can actually do a clinical role in pharmacy, that's what got me excited about pursuing my education in pharmacy. So I decided to apply to University of Pittsburgh, and I just got lucky that I was able to get admitted that year, even though it was a last-minute decision to change my mind from medicine to pharmacy in my senior year. But I'm so glad I did because I got to really practice at the top of my license, and I'm still being able to take care of patients, but focus on the medication, which is what I was really more interested in. One of the things I love about my job is every single day is different. I work as a faculty member, which means I have 3 different hats that I'm doing. I kind of basically break it down to like having the administrative responsibilities with my job, which is the Associate Dean of Student Affairs. So that's where I'm focusing more on how can I help students get a better experience during their pharmacy education and being able to graduate and do whatever they want to do after they finish pharmacy school. So that part is a little bit tricky because it's not like I'm doing the exact same thing every day. There's always something that comes up when I'm talking to students, and it depends on the time of the semester too. In the summertime, it's a little bit slower, but during the semester, it gets very busy with their students who want your help or advice as well too and everything. So I'm constantly meeting students at different times of the day. So it's kind of hard to put that in a box. But I do also practice, which is my second hat, is I also practice as a pharmacist. I enjoy doing patient care. And so I work in a outpatient heart transplant clinic, and it's a really rewarding experience. I work 2 days a week in a clinic. I work on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So those are a little bit more structured, where I will work for 4 to 5 hours on each day to kind of see patients. And I basically do patient interviews and kind of learn about their medications, and then also to help create recommendations for what any medication changes, and I'll provide that to our nurse practitioner and our transplant coordinator as well. Then the last part is obviously teaching. I also teach, and that varies over the semester. I mostly teach in cardiology and how to treat high blood pressure or high cholesterol. And so that varies depending on the semester too as well. So it's not a typical 9 to 5 day job, I'll be honest, but that's what I love about my job, is that I get to such a variety that every week is going to be different. When I first started, I was so passionate about patient care. That was the part that really drove me, like, to what I was doing every day, and that's what I would get out of bed for. But after a few years of doing that, especially in the inpatient side, I realized that there was another passion of mine, and that was mentoring and teaching. I love training the next generation, whether it's a pharmacy student or a pharmacy resident or a fellow, and that's what. And I realized that was more what I wanted to kind of focus on, but I would never want to give up my patient care aspect. I love being a pharmacist, and I love keeping my drug knowledge, so that was so important to me. And I'm so thankful that University of Maryland's given me the opportunity to be able to branch out and explore my interest. So that's why I started decreasing my time in patient care and started taking on more administrative responsibility. I used to be able to oversee the residency and fellowship programs at our institution and got to really enjoy working with them and training them, and so that they can do whatever they wanted after they finished their program. And now I just recently started as Associate Dean of Student Affairs. I would say this is where I'm like so passionate about. I've really enjoyed working with students in the past 6 months and got to see them go to graduation. That was so much fun. I also get to help with the white coat ceremony, plan that, and I get to see the excitement on their face when they're coming into pharmacy school, and then kind of helping guiding them until they get to that end where they go to graduation. So I would say that's probably my favorite part of my job right now, is being able to mentor and give guidance to students and train the next generation. One of the biggest struggles that people have when it comes to going into exploring pharmacy as a career, there's so many different options. It's an exciting time in pharmacy because we don't have just the traditional roles of working in the community or working in the hospital setting. Things have changed so much and so drastically, especially after the pandemic. People have really started to branch out to other ways and how they can help the global population. So there's been such a big interest in industry, or like going to the Food and Drug Administration. So there's people who are trying to get into those pathways too now. That's become a very common trend. I think one of the biggest advice I have is don't lock yourself into one pathway in pharmacy. Do whatever you think is best for you at that time. I know people get overwhelmed with all the choices that they have, but you're not stuck in one choice forever. Do whatever you're passionate about. For me, it was clinical, and I thought I would be clinical pharmacist forever. I thought there was no way I would ever stay away from going to the unit and helping the doctors take care of their patients. But I realized after time, I couldn't believe how much I've evolved over the last 10 years that I've worked as a faculty member. I just realized that I have other passions like teaching and also being able to mentor and advise students. So I've already changed in my own career, and so many of my colleagues have actually gone on to different jobs. It's rare that you have to be stuck with one job, so don't put too much pressure on it if you're not sure what you want to do after pharmacy school. I think the key thing is do what you're passionate about, and then you can always re-explore that every few years, and if this is still the right choice for you. But don't get stagnant in your career. I think it's important that you stay motivated and want to help others as well.